Check, check.
I am Ramalakshmi. I have the privilege of welcome you all for the next session on the topic finite element analysis of natural convection in cavities with distributed solar heaters. I have the privilege to introduce Professor Tanmay Pasak, a distinguished scholar and educator, currently serving as professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering at Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Professor Pasak's expertise spans the dynamic intersection of chemical engineering and advanced research with the focus of microwave applications, mathematical modeling and simulation. His contributions to the field reflect a commitment to innovation and scientific excellence. As a key figure at IIT Madras, Professor Pasak plays a pivotal role in shaping the academic landscape of chemical engineering. His dedication to advancing research methodologies and mathematical modeling underscores his commitment to pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Today, we welcome Professor Tanmay Pasak, a luminary in the realm of chemical engineering, whose impactful work continues to inspire both students and colleagues alike. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Professor. Thank you. Please, sir.
Good morning to all of you. I would like to know the audience, so it should be very friendly kind of talk. So, what are the precise background of the people here? The masters in mathematics or something like that? The students, mechanical engineering mostly. You are on mechanical engineering, BTechs, right? BTechs, electrical. How many mechanicals are the hands, please? Wow, pretty good. Okay, thank you. So this is basically, this talk is the interface of mechanical engineering, mathematics and little bit of electrical engineering. But mostly the mechanical engineering should be the large audience for my lecture. Okay, so I am sure you might have done thermal engineering, right? Heat transfer? Heat transfer you have done. You are from which year? Final year? Third year, okay. So, some sort of mathematical modeling will be there. So, definitely this sort of slightly advanced mechanical engineering, but we will see that how things go. Next slide, please. So, we will be talking about the finite element method. That is one of the mathematical technique. In fact, you might have done numerical analysis in your course. Any numerical analysis course you had in your curriculum? Numerical techniques you had first year, second year, any course? Okay. So it is the so finite element method is a technique where we want to solve differential equations for irregular domains. So generic formulations for irregular domains and easy implementation, the complex boundary conditions can be handled, and higher accuracy of solutions compared to finite difference or finite volume methods, and computations can be performed with coarser grades and more accurate evaluations of the derivatives when you want to have derivative calculations, and using basis functions and element assemblies you can actually work on. Next slide, please. Okay, so my journey on finite element method. So in fact, when I started my master's program, I am basically a chemical engineer, and in fact in chemical engineering, of course chemical engineering is very rare these days. Most of the places you will find basic engineering mechanical, and of course there are interfaces of chemical and mechanical engineering. So how this finite element started in my life, that's the main slide. In fact, this is the interesting slide I wanted to convey. So in 1992, it's almost like 30 years back, I completed my bachelor's in chemical engineering, and it was in Jadavpur University, Calcutta. And of course, a lot of chemistry was actually there in my BTech days, and in fact I wanted to do mathematics, and with the hope of tremendous mathematical journey, I left Calcutta almost like 31 years back, and I came to southern part of India, and that's Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, where I did my masters and PhD. So I approached to my master's advisor for a really challenging mathematical project, which is having a heat transfer impact. So that was a very interesting story, and you can see that mathematics everywhere. And that, having said that, you can see that this is like a honeybee. Okay. So why honeybee? So in North America, if you go to, in fact, I felt very cold temperature when I was in University of Massachusetts Amherst during the year 1999-2000. I had noticed the temperatures minus 30 degrees centigrade. Of course, like sitting in Chennai and Tamil Nadu, we cannot even imagine minus 30 degree, because here our temperature is 30 to 40 degree, 40 plus is the summer. But I survived in minus 30 degrees centigrade. Now this honeybee, how the honeybee survives. So this is the picture, is like a honeybee swarm, a cluster of honeybees. You can actually see this kind of cluster in India, but the honeybees problem is serious compared to our Indian climate. So US temperature is minus 35 degrees centigrade, and honeybees have to fly, and they have to go and get their food. It's very interesting. Their flight muscle is activated in the ambient temperature, which is around 15 degrees centigrade. Where they will get 15 degrees centigrade? Outside ambient is minus 35 degree. It's a very, very dangerous situation. So they form this kind of structure called swarm, and they start doing metabolism. With that metabolism, they generate the heat, and that's very interesting. With that, when they generate the heat, they actually have something like 17 to 20 degrees centigrade temperature, the queen bee, and that heat will be temperature slightly lesser if you go outer of the swarm. So when they do metabolism, they fly, they get the food. Again, they have to come back because they cannot fly anymore because temperature is pretty cold. They'll be cooler, and again they get the food, they do metabolism. That is the way the mechanism is. So one of the scientists, his name is Bernd Heinrich, is almost like more than 40 years back, he did the experiment. What he did, that he created artificial swarm of honeybees and make them to form this kind of a structure, and you can see this is he measured the temperature with the thermocouple. So the thermocouple measure the temperature, and the center temperature is around 35 degrees centigrade, outer is around 15 degrees centigrade. So what was my work during my masters? My master's advisor asked me, okay, this is the experimental data, can you prove mathematically using finite element method? See, that's the situation is why finite element method was so powerful, because this is an irregular kind of domain, and we need to solve the energy balance equation, heat transfer energy balance equation, and to get the solution. And this is the finite element mesh I generated, and finite element simulation I had carried out, and you can see yes, yeah, and they carried out, and you can see that the experimental data, the dotted line is the simulation results, and the symbols of experimental data, they match pretty well, and this was published in chemical engineering science. This is my first paper. Okay, so having been the heat transfer community, I will ask the person's name to you. Have you heard about Professor Adrian Bejan, the book by convection heat transfer? No. So please look into the Google. He is the highly cited researcher in the world. His name is Adrian Bejan, and he is a mechanical engineer, and #1 in heat transfer in mechanical engineering. Please go to the Google, and this paper, my paper, he was the corresponding author. So this paper was co-authored with the person, with the scientist whose name is Adrian Bejan, who is the #1 mechanical engineer in heat transfer in the world. So please look into it, and this paper is 1996. The paper is authored by Basak, K.K. Rao and Adrian Bejan. Next slide please. So today's lecture is distributed solar heating, layout and implementation. So if you have the solar heater and how the setup, how the equations, govern equations and boundary conditions, and that I am going to address. Next slide please. Okay. So before getting into stuff, we have the natural convection, the heat transfer based on the, so I will try talk much on the natural convection. So that is buoyancy due to density changes and of course induced by temperature differences, and natural convection is everywhere, starting from kitchen to the any kind of thermal processing. Applications, heat exchangers, solidification, melting, crystal growth, nuclear reactors, building, cooling, etc. You have the fuel source, microchannels, lasers, plasma jets, solar collectors, biochemicals, etc. Next slide please. So natural convection, if you want to look at the heat transfer stuff, you have the free surface flows, external flow, the boundary layer flow, and we have the flow in the enclosures, internal flow, the boundary layers along the walls, and that will be very complicated. They will be interacting with each other, and that keeps the complex flow physics. Next slide please. So conventional heating from the bottom. So we want to emphasize why we need to have distributed solar heating. Why need to have distributed solar heating? So that's a very important part. So generally speaking, when we see our kitchen, our mother, all the people who are working in the kitchen, they actually, what they do, they put some kind of container in the burner, and that can represent the hot bottom side core, and top sometimes they put the cover, it represents the adiabatic wall. If you do that, what actually happens that you have the temperature profile, and you can see this part is getting heated much, and this is remain cool, and that's why we need to put the kind of things, we have to just shuffle around. Otherwise, if you just stand and see your smartphone, you will see that things are burnt out, because we can see that this part is really hot. You have to mix up, and what actually happens that if you have the liquid itself will mix up, and that actually gives the circulation pattern in the liquid phase, and you get streamlines, and that actually gives the convection current. But nevertheless, what I wanted to say that here, that this part is cool and the poor heat distribution, and this kind of heat distribution is not conducive for the thermal processing, and for that purpose we need to have better thermal management. Next slide please. So distributed heating efficient thermal mixing, heat sources are distributed along the walls of the cavity, and total length of heat sources is equal to that in the case of uniform heating. So what I am saying that we have seen that if you have the complete bottom heating, the top portion is having cold pockets, and which is not not the objective is the uniform heating, and that the purpose is completely gone. So instead we have the complete, if I say that this length is 1, completely 1, I say that I put 0.5 length, 0.25, 0.25, still I can maintain a reference length of 1 unity, the heater length, but you can see that the cold pocket is gone here, and you have small cold pocket and uniform thermal mixing, and this kind of mixing is actually important for the uniform thermal processing and the better quality of the heating, and this is a complete streamline. So this is the motivation why we need to have distributed solar heating, and this kind of problems we want to solve we want to do the theoretical exercise for this project. You can solve these problems by seeing the energy balance equation, momentum balance, Navier-Stokes equations, and so on. We will be discussing more on that aspect. Next slide please. The application of convection enclosures in distributed sources, I just go first, and the Plumat and Saris, one of the two scientists, they talked about glass melting, liquid metal processing, people have done the work, and these are the references. So, this is the typical setup. Next slide please. Electronic packaging, food sterilization and building ventilation. Other examples. Next slide please. So, thermal management visualization tools. So, basically we are talking about that another aspects, the two aspects I wanted to focus here, the heat lines and the entropy generation minimization. So, why heat lines? Because if we look at steam lines, talk about how the fluid flow is occurring, and these are the isotherms, but how the energy is distributed, because energy cannot be visualized. Energy cannot be visualized. So, how so if energy is not visualized, how we visualize energy? This answer is heat line. And what is heat line? Heat line is a mathematical tool, and we cannot visualize energy, but mathematics will give you the answer how to visualize the energy. And that is the question I pose here. Can the heat flow be visualized? The answer is yes. No instruments can visualize, no experimentalists can visualize, but mathematicians and mechanical engineers can visualize with the tool called heat line, and that I am going to discuss. Next slide please. So, the objectives: to visualize convective heat flow into enclosures, distributed heat sources, of course to analyze the role of distributed heating over conventional bottom wall or uniform heating, we have discussed that, to study enhancement of thermal mixing by distributed heating, and of course to study uniformity in temperature distribution due to distributed heating. And you can see that the two things we want to compare. I started with the uniform heating. The bottom wall is hot, two side walls cold, and adiabatic top wall, and of course there are cold pockets. And distributed heating, we have the two side hot walls and bottom some portion of hot, and we found that identical heat source. That means if you say that is my unit length, if you put 0.5, 0.25, 0.25, we will have much better heating quality. That says that yes, distributed heater is a need, and we want to analyze more, and we will see my rest of my talk. Next slide please. Yes, these are setups I am going to discuss for today's lecture. The uniform heating, the cold side walls and top and bottom hot walls, and at the bottom we have the discrete heater 0.5, 0.25, 0.25, case 2 is 0.25, 0.25, case 3, case 4 and case 5. You can see that the total length is 1, and I distribute 0.5, 0.25, 0.25. And now interesting part is this 0.25, you can see this heater at the bottom. You can have heater at the central, but we should not have the heater at the top portion, because the hot liquid will not come down, it will be actually circulating here, and that will give the poor thermal management. Rather, you can have asymmetric distribution. So 0.5, 0.25 top, 0.25 bottom, and this is the worst case. I also discussed case 4 where everything at the top, and case 5 you want to distribute further. You can see so many heaters we place, and the question is, can we improve the situation? And that answer can be given in terms of the heat flow visualization and entropy generation minimization. Next slide please. Yes, after giving the so much physical intuition, physical perspective, now I would like to talk about the mathematical preludes, mathematical concept on this solution of the problem to visualize. So, this is the continuity equation, dou u by dou x plus d dou v by dou y equals to 0, and these two are the Navier-Stokes equation, which is u dou u dx plus v dou u dou I is minus dou p dou x plus pr dou to u by dou x square plus dou to u by dou v square. The x component in a momentum balance, and this is the y component momentum balance is the body force, which is coupled with the which is having the buoyancy component, which is basically modeled by Bose-Einstein approximation. I will discuss later. And we have the energy balance equations. Of course, we have the boundary conditions, mostly cold surface, hot surface, we have the Dirichlet boundary conditions, and adiabatic we have homogeneous Nyman boundary conditions. Assumptions: two-dimensional steady laminar flow, incompressible Newtonian fluid, constant thermophysical properties except density, and we have Bose-Einstein approximation to account for density variation with temperature. Next slide please. So, the visualization of heat flow, fluid flow, we have the stream function. It's we have dou u by dou x minus b, and dou psi by dou minus dou psi by dou x equals to v, and dou psi by dou y equals to u. Psi is a string function, and this is the way we can, if you have the velocity components, you can actually use the differential equation to obtain the string functions. Next slide please. So the heat functions, as I said, that the first time introducing heat lines, which talks about the visualization of invisible energy flow. It talks about the visualization of invisible energy flow. So it's dou pi by dou y equals to u theta minus dou theta by dou x, and dou minus dou pi by dou x v theta minus dou theta by dou x is a convective flux and conductive flux together. So that gives the overall energy perspective. We can have single equation, Poisson equation, and this Poisson equation solution is very, very challenging. I have so many papers on this, and you can look into the papers, which gives the much better perspective. So this equation, the heat function is pi, and it has different kind of bound conditions: isothermal, hot or cold surface, n dot grad pi equal to 0. Hot cold junctions, we have the different Dirichlet conditions, and adiabatic surface pi equals to constant. Next slide please. So numerical procedures, the Gallatin penalty finite element method, we have the velocities, u component, v and theta component, psi is the string function, pi is the heat function, and so so Gallatin finite element method talks about the velocity can be approximated, or any field variable can be approximated with the basis function, and of course we have the penalty finite element method. P is minus gamma dou u dou x dou v dou y, and we have when you implement that, you can have the operator, and then if you expand, is orthogonal to the basis function. Lu minus f is the error, and error is orthogonal to the basis function, and we get the algebraic system. Next slide please. So it's a Lagrange multiplier method. So you can look at, is a Lagrange multiplier and penalty finite element method is a direct consequence of the object of the constraint optimization problem, and if you implement that, you get the formula that pressure is minus gamma del dot v. Next slide please. I'll just quickly go to the mathematical part. Next slide. Next slide please. Yes, this is a problem actually I always discuss in the class. We have the, if you start talking, I'll get distracted. Okay, I'll try to go fast the mathematical part, get some pictures so that I can get your attention. Otherwise, if you talk much, I'll be losing what the points what I am going to address here. Thank you. So Lagrange multiplier method and the penalty formulation. These are the typical examples I discussed in the class. Next slide, please. Yes, these are continued equation, Lagrange multiplier and penalty formulation. This is the overall background. Next slide, please. Yes, this is the, so when you have P equals to minus gamma dou u by dou x by dou v by dou y, you get this modified Gabon equations where you can see there is no pressure, and that will be solved by Gallatin finite element method. Next slide please. So this is the Gallatin finite element method, Buick forms, global variables and global basis set. This is the overall format. If you want to implement the finite element method, next slide please. Yes, this is the mesh generation. General loose structures of elements should be comparable with the domain, and this is a kind of typical mesh generation. Next slide please. This is the overall mathematical background. You need to have numerical knowledge, numerical analysis background to understand much, so I just don't want to focus much. I want to go to the next slide please. Yes, this is a typical mesh structure. You can see that this is a square domain, and you can see the nodes will be actually shared this way. There are 4 elements, and there will be local and global node numbers. I will be coming to the next slide. Next slide please. Yeah, you can see that so in finite element method we have the local node numbers and global node numbers, and so here the red color nodes are the local node numbers. So each element will have 9 local nodes, and entire domain has 25 global node numbers. So we have 3 different numbers. Is the local element number, local node number red color, and blue color the global node number. Next slide please. So, the typical structure for the local to global assembly. Next slide please. Yes, this is the mathematical assemble, mathematical. So, basically a lot of commercial packages actually there. So, but I never use any commercial package, rather I write the solutions, rather I derive the residuals and solve, and these are the kind of mathematical procedures. I want you to just quickly go to the slides just to show some of the mathematics please. Next slide. Yes, these are the kind of global variables and solution variables. Next slide please. Next slide. Yes, these are the different corners, how to obtain residuals in finite element method. Next slide please. Next slide please. Next slide. Next slide. Next, you just go through. These are the kind of residuals you actually can obtain. Next slide please. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next. Next. Next, the final residuals. These are final Jacobian residuals. Next slide please. Next slide. And this is a typical algorithm to obtain residual and Jacobian, and this actually gives the solution. And in fact, I have more than 10,000 by 10,000 matrices size I actually solve, and of course MATLAB cannot do it, and I solve using the photon programming. Next slide please. So here I will be showing some of the results. So visualization of temperature distribution, and isotherms have the flaws, and this is the cold zone. Actually I told that why these are cold zones, and why the what is the role of heat lines, that I am going to discuss. So this is the way we can also solve the streamlines using finite element method. Next slide please. And these are the kind of validations, you know, in our program. We had earlier results by Idin and Young, and next slide please. Yes, so heat lines, visualization of heat flow. So this is the, as I said, the x direction, y direction. We have the convective and conductive heat fluxes, and we can have the differential equation, and it requires the heat function boundary conditions, and you have average Nusselt numbers. Next slide please. And the local average Nusselt numbers, all mechanical engineers know that, and these are the average Nusselt numbers. Next slide please. So these are the calculations. You can look at my papers. Next slide please. Okay. So conduction dominant regime and convection dominant regime, this is the typical way the heat line validations, you can see that. So if you have the conduction zone, what heat lines say that these heat lines will be horizontal, because heat lines and isotherms will be perpendicular. So if it is a hot wall and cold wall, what it says that heat will be flowing from hot to cold wall, and that's why the heat lines are. So heat line says that it is nothing but trajectory of the heat flow from the hot wall to cold wall. But if it is a convection dominant regime, what actually happened, heat will be flowing with the fluid element. Okay, so you can say the core zone, the heat lines will be follow the fluid element, but at the center, at the near the wall is a hot and cold wall, heat will be flowing from hot to the cold wall, and this is a good agreement between the present work and literature. Next slide please. So grid independence test has been carried out. We have done different kind of mesh sizes, 41 by 41, 49 by 49, and 57 by 57. Grid independence test is established for the case 5 where steep gradients and of local Nusselt number occur, and you can see the different grid independence test for different grids like 41 by 41, 49 by 49, and 57 and 57, and all are matching pretty well. Next slide please. So uniform heating pair number is 0.015, pair number is 10 to the power 3. This is the heat line, and you can see that and this is the typical streamlines, and this is the temperature profile, and the heat line says that you know, this is the hot wall, and this is the first time I am showing that, you know, heat line, and you can see that heat is a trajectory, heat line is a trajectory of energy. So how energy is flowing, okay, and you can see lot of dense energy map here, and that's why the high temperature gradient at this point. So, this is the very interesting part, that how we can see the energy, whether we cannot see the energy, but mathematics provides a tool which gives the energy flows, the conduction, dominant transfer, and heat lines are orthogonal to the isothermal walls and poor thermal mixing along top portion. These are the outcome for the heat line. Next slide please. Okay, so this is the overall comparison. You can see that we have shown different kind of heaters, the case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4 and case 5 as multiple heaters. So, you can see that here the streamlines, these are streamlines, heat lines and temperature, and you can see that for this case here the heaters are near the bottom and lot of cold zone is actually there, and you can see the how the heat is being transported. Some heat will be going from here, some is going from here, and similarly when you actually shift it outside, heat will be distributed along this zone, and that way we can see much better distribution in different places. In fact, when you have multiple heaters distributed, we can have more uniformity in the temperature profile, and that's what you can see. So, this now we can explain the role of energy distribution, how it affects the overall heating pattern. Next slide please. So, this is the panel number 0.015. This is the if you have the bottom heated wall, how the heating pattern will be, how the top portion is cold, and if you have the again the next slide I wanted to show you the if you have distributed, next slide, if you have distributed heaters, you can see that how this heat energy transport will affect the overall heating system, and definitely distributed heaters are showing better strategy and better thermal management. Next slide please. Again that's for different parallel number, 1000 parallel number, and in that case next slide please, we have to show, we can see that we have the different strategies. We have the higher distribution of the energy, and you can see the more thermal mixing for higher parallel number. Next slide please. So, there actually what we actually decided, we talked about the cup mixing temperature, which is a velocity weighted average temperature, indicates intensity of thermal mixing during the convective flow. So, and again we have the root mean square deviation, which talks about temperature uniformity, which is analyzed by RMSD. So, these are the two things we have to see. If a cup mixing temperature has to be higher, and root mean square deviation has to be minimum 0 almost. If it is 0, that means it has got more uniformity. Next slide please. Yeah, and we have seen that is the, we calculated the cup mixing temperature, the red dots, and you can see that the case 1, case 2, which is actually giving the higher cup mixing temperature, but case 4 you can see the lower RMSD, because we wanted to have lower RMSD for the uniformity. So, we need to have the optimization problem here. We need to maximize the cup mixing temperature, minimize the RMSD, and which mechanism is the top. That may be the future research, maybe somebody can take up and do that with the machine learning, artificial intelligence, all those can be actually combined together to get the best results. Next slide please. So, the strategy on discrete heater heat lines. So, heat produce during natural convection in square cavities with distributed heat source is visualized. Heat lines, role of distributed heating is analyzed by visualization of heat flow. Convective heat transport is strongly dependent on distributed assembly of heat sources. Enhancement of thermal mixing is quantitatively studied by comparing cup mixing temperatures for various cases, and heat line approach may be useful in determining the optimum heating strategies. Next slide please. So, thermodynamic efficiency of heating strategy in entropy generation, heat transfer can be enhanced by distributed heating, and fluid flow is improved, and that draws more adequate thermal mixing, and the distributed heating strategy is thermodynamically efficient. I am sure you might have done second law of thermodynamics, right, the entropies, right, that is we have done. And what second law says, that if you have very fast process, you will have something lost, some efficiency is lost. For example, if you rub your hand, you won't find any difficulty, but if you do very fast, you will feel very tired, and you can see this very high temperature. That shows that it is the irreversible process, irreversibility, and you are losing the efficiency. So, in fact, when you have a system, you should not be losing the efficiency, and that that does not solve the purpose. So entropy generation says that you have to minimize entropy generation so that you can have higher efficiency. Next slide please. So the every real process is inherently an irreversible process, and available or useful energy called exergy is destroyed during the process to overcome the irreversibilities, leading to reduction of maximum available efficiency. And loss of exergy to irreversibilities can be quantified in terms of entropy generation based on some theorem we call Guest-Aurora theorem, and this is the theorem. Next slide please. So this is entropy generation minimization, and it has two components: heat transfer reversibility and friction reversibilities. And we need to identify the high production zone and change the heating strategy, and that is the way we have the feedback from entropy generation minimization to have better heating efficiency. Next slide please. So the entropy generation due to heat transfer is theta is given by this, entropy generation due to friction is given by this expression, and high precision numerical simulations are required for accurate computation of entropy generation due to the presence of the square of derivatives, and FEM can effectively determine entropy generation for a much coarser mess. Next slide please. Yeah, so these are the derivative calculations, and derivative calculations for any particular point is very challenging using mathematics, and finite element plays the big role, and more accurate evaluation of derivatives advantages over the finite difference or volume method. Next slide please. Okay, so total entropy generation one can actually calculate, an average Bayesian number can be calculated, which are the indicators. Next slide please. And this is a benchmark and good agreement between the present and work and literature. Next slide please. And these are the grid invariant test. Next slide. It agrees pretty well. And these are the different kind of distributed heaters. You just put the finger there better, otherwise it will go. That's what I am saying, you just put the finger there. Okay, and this is the, you can, so some of the points you can see high production. High production of entropy, it is okay. I'll just hang on, I'll just quickly complete it, please. This is very disturbing for me. I was giving the lecture, I didn't anticipate this kind of things may happen. No problem. Back to the talk. So please go forward. Yes, we had discussed about this part. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Yes, we have discussed that part. Next slide. Yes, so this is the sort of the various distributed heaters, and I have highlighted some of the high numbers. So distributed heaters actually give much better heating, but it will also give the high entropy production. So we need to see that which distributed heaters will give less entropy production, and that's the big challenge. Next slide, please. So these are the different kind of setup, different real number and panel numbers. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, go. Next one. These are all different kind of entropy production data. Next slide. Next slide. Yes, distributed heating reduces the entropy generation, of course, and case 4 results in minimum entropy generation at low panel number and high transfer diversity in case 5 due to multiple heat sources. Next slide, please. Yes, this is for high panel number case. You can see the entropy generation Bézier numbers. Next slide, please. Discrete heaters, of course, this is the conclusion. The highest degree of temperature uniformity can be achieved, and case 5 configuration, the moderate thermal mixing is the best recommendation. So entropy generation analysis establishes higher efficiency of distributed heating over differential heating. Analysis of heat transfer and fluid friction reversibility resolves the critical issues and leads to efficient thermal management. Next slide, please. These are the different publications from our group. Next slide for heat lines. Next slide is entropy generation, different publications. Next slide. And research teams, so have guided PhDs, some of chemical engineering and some are from mathematics department. Next slide. Research impact, these are the citations of our group, the top cited papers we can actually have, and this is this diagram says that we can publish a lot of avenues and a lot of citations, and thanks very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Okay, very thank you, sir. You are giving great lecture. From audience, from your side, any questions, any doubts, please ask to sir. From my side, a small doubt, sir. For suppose if you are take bottom hot wall, hot, and suppose sides cold walls, then suppose if you are take magnetic effect, then either if you are take parallel to x-axis or perpendicular to x, which direction is better?
That we have to work on.
Hot wall. Okay. Sir. And then it is if you are take any possibility have take infinite plates, sir, if you are instead of that.
Infinite plates, I don't think it will be useful.
Useful. Okay. Sir. So that is. Thank you, sir. From audience, any doubts? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Just give the pen right, please. Oh, sure. Just eject it properly.
Sundareswaran sir.
Paper ID 267. Paper ID 279. Let us start.
So good morning all of you. I welcome every one of you for this session. First of all, I would like to welcome Ms. N. Arulmoli from Puducherry Technology University for giving her presentation on this topic, analysis and empirical investigation of queuing inventory system, two classes of customer and non-preemptive priority, single vacation and SS replenishment policy. So this will be the paper, and I request Ms. N. Arulmoli to give the presentation for about 10 to 15 minutes. After the presentation, then the session will be opened for discussion. Okay. Thank you. Please start your presentation. Thank you.
Good morning to all. I would like to introduce myself. I am Arulmoli under the guidance of Dr. G. Ayyappan, Department of Mathematics, Puducherry Technological University. Today my presentation topic is analysis and empirical investigation of queuing inventory system, two classes of customer under non-preemptive priority, single vacation and S, policy. Next. This is abstract. The arrival of priority and regular customer is represented by the Markov-in arrival process with the two distinct categories of customers being observed. The service time follows phase type distribution with the both customers are same. The system consists of an infinite capacity of ordinary customer and priority customers having finite capacity, maximum S items in the inventory. Using the technique of matrix analytical method and find out stability condition, steady state probability vector and numerical results. Next. This is outline of our model. First one is introduction of the model, stability condition, steady state probability vector, numerical results and also references. Next. Introduction. The Markovian arrival process was first introduced in Newts in 1984 and the extension of map is BMAP was established by Lukantoni and also Chakravarti sir derived various form of arrival with notation D0 and D1 where D0 means no arrival and D1 means arrival. The phase type representation is a Markov renewal process in service time. The matrix analytical method has been first introduced in Newts. Next one. An inventory is any resource that is kept to satisfy present and future needs. Inventory is nothing but unsold purchased item. Examples of spare parts, raw material, work in process and other items are examples of inventory. Inventory models are utilized in the hospitals, educational institution, agriculture, industry and banking and so on. Based on the ordering policy, first one is S, S policy, second one is S, Q policy. I am using S, S policy. This is the schematic representation of my model. There are two types of arrival, namely ordinary customers and priority customers. Ordinary customers arrival follows phase Markovian arrival process with notation H0, H1 and priority customers arrival follows Markovian arrival process with notation D0 and D1. Priority customer is finite capacity, ordinary customers infinite capacity. Any customers arrive in the system, the server start to the service phase type distribution. After service completion, is service completed if yes means the customer leave the system and no means the server stuck with breakdown. The server move to repair process. After repair completion, the server start to the current customer to provide phase type distribution. Any customer in the queue, if yes means the customer start to the same service and no means the server go for vacation. After vacation completion in any customer in the queue, the server start to the service, otherwise the server stay in the ideal state. Next one. This is notation of my model. N1 of T number of customer in the system, J of T server status, where J of T equal to 0 means server is in vacation mode, 1 means server is ideal, 2 means server is busy with ordinary customer, 3 means server is busy with priority customers, 4 H0 means no arrival and H1 indicates arrival of type 1 customers. Priority customer arrived according to map represented by D0 D1 of size M2. D0 means no arrival of priority customer, D1 means priority customers not arrival. With capacity N. Both ordinary customer and priority customers follows a phase type distribution with gamma comma u, where gamma is initial probability vector, u is a service matrix and n is a order. The rate is mu b equal to gamma into minus mu into inverse e inverse whole inverse of. The vacation period is generated by phase type distribution with notation alpha 1 comma t1, where alpha 1 is initial probability vector of vacation period and t1 is a vacation matrix. The repair time follows also phase type distribution. This is the S, Q strategy adopted. The lead and breakdown times are also exponentially distributed with the parameter beta and psi or parameters respectively. Next one. Continuous time Markov chain is represented by N1 of T, N2 of T, I of T, J of T, V of T, R of T, S of T, A1 of T and A2 of T is a continuous time Markov chain with state phase pi equal to pi of 0 union of I equal to 1 to infinity pi of I, where pi of 0 equal to 0 customer in the system, what are the possibilities of server status in the state phase, and where pi of I equal to greater than or equal to 1, pi of I where I is any customer in the system, what are the possibilities of server status in the system. Next one. This is the QBD structure of tree-diagonal infinite generating matrix B00A1. This matrix represented by no service completion, no arrival matrix. B01A0 is represented by arrival matrix. B10A2 is a service completion matrix. Next one. This is the stability condition of my model. The arrival rate is much less than service rate, that is lambda less than mu is for exponential matrix. This is the Markovian arrival process for stability condition chi A naught E less than chi A to E. The stability condition of my model. Next one. Analysis of stationary probability vector. Let X be the stationary probability vector of the generator matrix Q and a subdivision of X, X0, X1 and so on. X0 is dimension of this one, X1, X2 and so on of dimension of this one. And X is a vector satisfy the relation Xq equal 0 and X equal to 1. Furthermore, while the stability condition is satisfied, the equation gives the various levels Xj equal to X1 into R power j minus 1, where R is the quadratic equation. Find out R matrix using the logarithmic reduction algorithm. The vector y0, y1 are obtained with the help of the succeeding two equations with subject to normalized condition. Next one. This is a measure of system performance measure. First one, expected number of ordinary customer in the system. Second one, probability the server is ideal. Probability the server is in vacation. Probability the server is busy with priority customers. Next one. Numerical result. The influence of the vacation rate eta versus the probability server is in vacation. The fixed the all parameters values except vacation rate according to the stability condition. Next one. Increasing the vacation rate and versus the probability vacation is also decreasing. The combining all arrival times for like year-long arrival, exponential arrival, hyper exponential arrival, negative correlation arrival, positive correlation arrival is all arrival terms is decreasing. Probability vacation is also decreasing, but year-long arrival is slowly decreasing, but positive correlation is fastly decreasing. Next one. This is exponential service. Same thing. Similarly, exponential service, exponential year-long service, exponential service, hyper exponential service is also this. Next one. Next. Conclusion. In this study, we developed two classes of customer in the queuing inventory system with single vacation, breakdown and repair. This study contributes to the improvement of an inventory management system, S, policy, and find out priority customer strategy, lead time, vacation rates with various arrival streams such as exponential, year-long, hyper exponential, map negative correlation, map positive correlation were investigated. In the future work, we will enhance this model with B-map and service time will be determined by the phase step distribution. Next one. These are my references. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Arunmali, for your wonderful presentation. Now the session is open for discussion. Any questions from the audience side? One general question, Mr. Arulmani.
Yes, sir.
What are the advantages of our system when compared to the presently available system, inventory? You presented a detailed presentation about the inventory system.
Inventory system.
What are the advantages of your system when compared to the presently available one?
Priority customers, sir. Any arrival of priority customers, first of all, I first preference priority customers. Two types of arrival, customer in the enter the system, but any customer in the arrival system, but I first preference to priority customer. Priority customer means hospital emergency patient is my first preference to the.
Okay. So your system may be applied to the hospitals and
yes,
other.
Yes, sir. Hospitals.
What are the other areas in which your system can be applied?
Agriculture, banking, and so on.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you.
The next presentation. So the next presentation will be done by Mr. Sundareswaran, who is an assistant professor in Kalasalam Academy of Business and Education. He'll be giving a talk on supporting smart meter context management using OWL ontology and Hyperledger Fabric blockchain. And sir will give a presentation for about 10 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning to one and all present here. Supporting smart meter context management using OWL ontology and Hyperledger Fabric blockchain. Next. Next slide. Next. The electricity consumption rates or electricity consumptions are increasing day to day, and here our objective is to reduce the electrical consumption rate on the customer end, and on the service provider end the data of the customer and the electrical consumption data should be kept secret. So we are on the smart meter system, and there is a technology called to that can list the device based electricity consumption, but we also add some additional features in that we add the context aware rule based inferences so that the electricity consumption rate can be minimized on the service provider end, and we also apply a blockchain technology, Hyperledger blockchain technology, to keep the data safe and secret, because that also affects the customer end. If someone, for example, a hacker may inject a false data on the electricity consumption, the customer will get affected. So the main benefit is the cost is increasing. Cost is increasing because day to day the electricity devices are increasing either on the domestic or on the industrial side. So we apply the context aware a rule based inferences system using OWL, web based ontology language, and the blockchain system. So that is blockchain system. Why we are using blockchain system? Because that is meant for the scalability, because the electricity devices are keep increasing. So the blockchain system should scale well. Next. So we actually develop the ontology based inferences so that aware the context. Suppose for example, if no one is in the room and the fan and lights can be switched off, so that provides or sends a message to the customer that no one is there in the particular room, and you can automatically switch on or switch off using their model. And this is the literature survey, and the first survey, and they are applying the LP-WAN technology and edge computing, and they are providing the rules, and they are providing inferences based system, and they applied on the rural and remote area, but they failed to apply the security model. The smart system that can provide the deviceless list, energy consumption list, but the security is not implemented. So if the security is not implemented, then it is prone to cyber attacks. The next one, previous, that is they developed framework for energy optimization. They provided efficient inference rules, but that is they only constrained to this particular buildings, not applied for the domestic or any industry. And the next one, blockchain based smart meter system, they provided proof of authority, but the validation, every time that validates the user, that provides the overhead on the response time. Next slide. And this paper, they have provided utility based model. It is cost efficient outcome, but they introduced delay because they applied so many rules and inferences. Next one, provided protection against cyber attacks. They used SHA 512 and encryption model, but the security features were not justified. And the last one is a blockchain hyperledger blockchain system that ensured the integrity, but there is no inference mechanisms. So here, what the problem is, we have to give the context awareness to the customer, and also the data should be kept secret. And we are actually merging these two features in our system. Next. Our objective is to optimize energy consumption, and the data should be kept secret, and the scalable and efficient solutions, and finally we compare the solutions. And this is the system architecture model, and in the middle we are having the inference model, perception layer, context layer, inference layer and action layer that provides the context awareness to the user, and right side blockchain hyperledger fabric model to give the security. So we are actually merging these two features in your system. And this is the context management, where the perception layer, so using sensors that sense the environment. For example, the PA sensor can sense the movement, whether someone is there or not. And the context layer, so the ontology rules are framed to understand or to get inferences, that yes, it justifies that no one is there. And the action layer will provide some kind of action like sending SMS. Next. And this is the explanation. So the perception layer obtains information, the context layer gets a semantic view, inference layer understands, and the action layer will trigger the actions. Usually we send SMS to the customers. Yes. So here we are framing the class model, that the classes that understands the concepts, roles, attributes, features, and then instances, the OWL web-based ontology language that finds the relationship, and the Proteage tool we are using is a ontology editor, so where you can frame rules, and the database CosDB we are using to store all this context awareness. Next. And this is the example for rules for ontology, where that checks whether anyone present in, switched on, detects motion, options in, the average consumptions, and GSP model is there, sends SMS. These are the rules that we can frame using the ontology and to find the context awareness. And this is the complete ontology. So from the tool we have framed the classes, objects and the relationships models. And this is on the security side, where we have framed a hyperledger fabric blockchain, and where we are creating a storage ledger that can store all kinds of data, customer data and also energy consumption data, because there is a possibility that the false data injection attack, hacker may inject false data on the energy consumption data, that the particular consumer, either it is an industrialist or it's a some personal, they may get affected, and that has transaction logs that stores all kinds of transactions, and it is scaling because we can add n number of users. Next. And this only output we got. This is sustainable data energy disaggregation data set we have used, that have a huge number of data sets from the Portuguese, and we have used as a input, and we applied all kinds of ontology rules, and from that we have framed the context, and we have intimated that inferences to the user. And this is a data set where from 0 to 1200 data set, and we have taken for the comparison with the existing systems, and we have taken 6 scenarios, and we proved that our system, when it comes to the processing time, so processing time is also matters, otherwise if the response time is very low, and no one will use our system. Yes. And this is the Hyperledger that we have created Hyperledger Fabric blockchain using CouchDB that act as a storage ledger and store all kinds of context informations, customer informations. And this is the TLS, transport layer security model, that provides security during the transition. The security ledger will provide as a security to the during the rest, and TLS will provide a security during the transmission. So we have not finished this system because we have framed the Hyperledger Fabric, and we have framed the storage ledger, and the transaction ledger task is yet to be completed. So these are the references. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Any clarification or doubts from the audience side? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Mr. Vinod. Can you hear me, sir?
ಯಾರು ಅವರಪ್ಪ?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, no. Okay, no problem, sir. Thank you.
Waste type inventory queuing model. அவங்க பிரசன்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு இல்லை சார், அவங்க பிரசன்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு இதுதான் தெரியும். சரி சரி சரி. So the next presentation will be by Ms. S. Meena from Puducherry Technology University, Puducherry. So she'll be presenting a talk on phase type inventory queuing model with two commodity vacation and breakdown and repair. So Ms. Meena will present for about 10 minutes, then we'll have a discussion. Over to you.
Options. Option service follows a phase type distribution with the notation Newcomb of order N2. An inventory ordering policy follows SI, SI policy where I equal to 1 to n for essential and optional inventory items respectively. SI and SI inventory policy means the present stock level falls to the level less than or equal to S. S minus QI S minus JI items must be ordered whenever JI is less than or equal to SI. Next. Repair time follows phase type distribution with representation beta comma p of order K2, and vacation time follows phase type distribution with the representation gamma comma u of order K1, and the breakdown time follows exponential distribution with the parameter sigma. The retail rate follows the exponential distribution with parameter psi. The lead time follows exponential distribution with parameter tau I, where I equal to 1 to 1, 2 for essential and optional inventory items respectively. The average repair rate and vacation rate is given by zeta and eta respectively. Semantic representation of a model. Arrival follows Markov-in arrival process. The customer finds the server is ideal, means the customer enter into the service station, otherwise is go for orbit. Orbit is a kind of infinite waiting space. In service station, inventory level is greater than 0 means the customer provides service. The server start the service is essential. Start the essential service is essential service completion yes means with the probability P, the customer need again optional service. With probability Q, the customer leave the system. In optional service, is completion yes means the customer leave the system. No means the both essential service and optional service. No means the server is working breakdown. Here the server to provide slow mode service for the current customer and then go for repair process. After completing the repair process, the server is ideal. After completing the service, if the orbit size is greater than 0, S means the server goes for vacation, otherwise the server is ideal. In orbital customers, they are called retail customers. The orbital customer retailing whenever the server is ideal. Next. Matrix representation model. Let N of t, V of t, I1 of t, I2 of t, J1 of t, J2 of t, S of t, M of t, and t greater than or equal to 0 denote the continuous time Markov chain with a state level independent quasi and Bertrand process. Let N of t the number of customers in the orbit, I1 of t is the essential inventory level, I2 of t is the optional inventory level, V of t is the server status. V of t 0 means the server is vacation, 1 if the server is ideal, 2 if the server is busy with normal mode with the essential item, 3 is the server is normal mode busy with optional item, 4 if the server is slow mode busy with the essential item, 5 is the server is slow mode busy with optional item, 6 is the server is a repair process. Next. J1 of t represents the vacation phase, J2 is the repair phase, S of t is the service phase, M of t is the arrival phase. The state phase of a model is given by L of V, where L of is the V customers in the orbit. Next. The infinite matrix generated of QBD process is given by where main diagonals as B naught not A1 represents the no arrival, no service completion matrices, and A naught represents the arrival occur matrices, A2 is the service completion matrices. Stability condition model, that A equal to A naught plus A1 plus A2 is the A equal to A naught plus A1 with the matrix of dimension this, and varphi is the probability vector of A satisfying varphi A equal to 0 and varphi E equal to 1. And the stability condition of model is varphi A naught is less than the varphi A to E, that is arrival rate is less than the service rate. Stability if you want to previous sir. Stability of model is given by this. Next, sir. Steady state probability vector, and let x be the steady state probability vector of Q, and x is partitioned into x0, x1, x2, etc. And x0 as our dimension this, and the requirement xq equal to 0 and x equal to 1 are satisfied by x. Xv equal to x0 into r power v, where r is the rate matrix which is the minimal non-negative solution of the quadratic equation r square a2 plus r a1 plus a0 equal to 0. The subvector x0 can be found by this equation x0 equal into b naught naught plus r a2 equal to 0 and normality conditions. System performance measures, expected number of customers in the orbit, expected essential inventory level. Next ones. Expected optional inventory level, expected reorder rate with the essential item, expected reorder rate with optional item. Numeric results. The following three representation of map representation are taken by the Chakravarti literature. So arrival is Erlang, arrival is exponential, and arrival in hyper-exponential. The following three phase type distribution are taken by Chakravarti literature: Erlang services, Erlang exponential service, and hyper-exponential services. We looked at the impact of retail rate when increasing the rate. versus the expected orbit. When we increasing the retail rate, the expected orbit size is decreasing. In Erlang arrival, it is decreasing slowly compared to other arrivals. Next one. In hyperextension arrival, it's decreasing rapidly, and Erlang arrivals decrease slowly. Next, sir. So with this is are my references, and thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Any clarification from the audience? Okay. Madam, what is the advantage of our system? What is the advantage of our system when compared to the presently available one?
Sir.
Be apply.
So, shops, retail shops, and banking sectors. In shops, in mobile shop, we need mobile is the essential item, and USB cable is the option items like that, sir. We need only mobile means we leave the system. Otherwise, option item is we need that USB cable that.
Thank you, ma'am. The next presentation will be Dr. Pandiala. Sir will be presenting on analysis of multi-language regional music tracks using representation learning techniques in lower dimensions. Sir, you can have a presentation for about 10 minutes, then we'll have a discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the topic, as the title indicates, it's about representation learning. Machine learning these days is ubiquitous, but machine learning depends on representation of data or information. So in this presentation, I will be covering the work done by me along with a couple of high school students. Samita is in the 11th grade and Kriti is in the 9th grade. Actually, most of the work was done in their previous years, so 10th grade and 8th grade. So the idea is essentially to see how well music can be represented to make sure that the fidelity is captured properly. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the two research questions that this project answers are, the first question is how well does the MEL spectrogram features represent data, particularly the subtler aspects. So for instance, if I start singing in this auditorium now, you may not fully be aware whether I am a veteran or a newbie. Right? So, but machine learning has done miracles in the recent past. So from an ECG, machine learning is able to detect the age, gender, whether the person has diabetes and so on and so forth, which the medical professionals are not able to see. So machine learning has those additional capabilities. So we wanted to see how well MEL spectrogram features are suited for this kind of representation and trying to figure out subtler aspects from the data. And the second question is how well can we conclude about the subtler features in lower dimensions. In huge dimensions, machine learning typically is high dimensional space. So when we convert them to lower dimensions, say for instance just 2 dimensions, we want to see how well the subtler aspects can be brought out from the data. So those are the 2 research questions. One is the representation in terms of MEL spectrograms, and the second is the effectiveness of the representation learning in lower dimensions. Next slide please. So in terms of, I did not prepare a slide on the literature survey for sake of time, but if you can please keep clicking. From our literature survey we observed that a lot of work has been done using TSNE and UMAP, but only for visualization. Nobody used them for seeing whether subtler aspects of music particularly can be grasped from the representation in lower dimensions using TSNE and UMAP. And then we also performed a detailed analysis of music in various languages. And we gathered key insights about gender, veteran status, specific vocalist and language from the data represented. And the analysis is based on commonly used audio representation, which is MEL spectrogram vectors. The data set we use is publicly available. It's a set of 20 songs in different languages: Kannada, Marathi, Nepali and Nagamese. There are 4 vocalists, 2 of them are male and 2 of them are female, and in terms of veteran status, 2 of them are veteran and 2 of them are contemporary, which is modern. And each artist has or each language has 4 vocalists per language. Next slide please. So what we did was extracted MEL spectrogram vectors, then we eliminated some duets and things like that because we wanted to focus on a single performer, single artist, so we eliminated duets. So in that 61 songs were remaining, and from that we randomly selected 30-second snippets. The data set available to us was 166,400 MFC MEL spectrogram features. So we combined them. They are all 3-second snippets. So we randomly chose 10 subsequent such snippets to analyze 30-second components of the song. So the first thing we did was to use PCA. The idea of lower dimensionality reduction is to preserve as much information as possible. PCA does it in a different way. PCA preserves global distances. So as you can see, there are a couple of outliers. There is one brown outlier. Nagamese song is kind of different from most others. So the next thing we did was to use TSNE, which preserves local distances. The analogy is I traveled from California to this place in Krishnan Kovil. So what is important is the maps in my hometown San Jose and the maps in Krishnan Kovil. We don't really care about the distance between Krishnan Kovil and San Jose, right? So that is the idea that is captured in TSNE. So for instance, the outlier in the PCA is not an outlier anymore in TSNE. The reason is because they're all, the distances are more local now. They are no longer global. So TSNE is a better visualization, and as you can see there are some patterns, like all the green dots are together, even in PCA and TSNE, all the green dots which are Nepali songs are together, the green crosses are also together, so there are some patterns. But it wasn't really to our satisfaction, so what we did was we improved the strategy. So what we did was we first reduced the dimensions to 10, and then just for the sake of visualization we reduced the 10 dimensions further to 2 dimensions. So then we obtained these kind of plots, the plot on the left hand side, and just for comparison we also reduced the dimensions using PCA to 5, and then from 5 dimensions we reduced it to 2 dimensions using TSNE. So we obtained the plot on the right hand side, and as you can see there's certainly some improvement. There is some clustering in the veteran status and the languages and other attributes of the artists. Excellent. Then we tried an even better approach, UMAP. So as we saw, PCA optimizes the global distances and TSNE optimizes local distances. So UMAP is a hybrid of both. It optimizes both, it retains some information of the global distances and also information about the local distances. So it's a uniform manifold approximation and projection. And a good thing about UMAP is that it can proceed in both supervised fashion and unsupervised fashion as well. So as you can see, the results are slightly improved now. The data is spread out. So that was unsupervised. So now we use supervised learning because we know all these features of the particular snippet. For instance, the blue dot is a Kannada snippet, and it's a male voice, and then probably it's a veteran status or something like that. So the legend indicates a snippet that it captures. So we supervised the data using language, artist gender, and veteran status and vocalist in the 4 plots, and as you can see now the distribution is much more clustered, right? We can easily see that all the Nagamese songs are on one side, Nagamese male songs are on one side, Nepali songs are on one side, and so on and so forth. So so we did more analysis using unsupervised and artist gender and veteran status. Again we can see the distinctions coming out from the plots. So the other thing that we did was to look at the distribution of the data, the densities, how the frequencies are focused. So what we did was we reduced the number of frequencies, the number of features extracted, the MEL spectrogram features to just 2, and then we plotted what is called as a kernel density estimation. As you can see, most of the frequencies are focused in the center and they are distributed, and the distribution of these frequencies is quite different for different languages, which was evident from the UMAP plots as well. So that's the conclusion. In conclusion, the answers to the 2 research questions are that yes, the MEL spectrogram features are quite well suited for analyzing music, for capturing the music information. And the second question was how well the information about subtle features like gender, veteran status, and things like that are captured in lower dimensions. I think from the plots we can see that the even in lower dimensions, those subtler aspects are captured adequately. So that answers both the questions, research questions, and I am open to any further discussion. Any questions?
So thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation. So have you tried with any other language, sir? You have told about 4 languages. Kannada, you told about Nagamis.
Yeah, so we were limited by the data set available online. So that data set I think had only these languages. So, but yeah, we will probably try with other languages as well as a future direction to see how well the representation captures the language aspects of the songs. But from what we observed, these are all diverse languages, Nagamese, Nepali and Kannada. They are all from different corners of the South Asia, Asian countries. So they were quite well captured. The differences are brought out clearly in the plots. But yeah, as you suggested, I think trying to see languages which are similar, like say Malayalam and Tamil, Dravidian languages. So that might be a good experiment that we would like to try, but that requires data set. So that is the challenge. But we will certainly consider that question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So first please wait, I'll write down the title.
We wanted to cover everything. So here in this proposed model, let me go to that particular diagram. So in this proposed model, we used a Google data set. we got the data, we downloaded the data set and we applied a data cleaning process where we saw few responses were very vague and it doesn't carry any sense at all. So we did the data cleaning process and we created an application. 75% of data we used in training that particular model, and we used other 25% of data to see how the outcome comes. So we used a concept called K-fold classifier model to predict the output, and based on that, the application can able to say if a student, if a person is depressed or not. So if I go to the application screenshot, you can able to see they will have to answer. This is what self-realization is all about. We gave chance them to answer few questions, and based on that answer, the application can able to say if the participant is depressed or not. So this is the primary concept of this research work. As we have a time limitation here, I just covered the main concepts what I need to say, but when we go deep into the thing, so we also addressed about all the mental issue problem that normal students can go through, and also we added some literature review in our paper somewhere. I can able to put that. So we added the literature review. So this is what the primary concept of our paper is.
Okay, very good. So it was a good presentation. And how far your focus of research work is better than the present scenario?
Sorry, sir. Can you please repeat that question, sir? There was some glitches, sir.
Okay. What I am asking is, how far your present focus of your research is better than the present scenario?
Sir, actually, the present scenario, there are several applications are there, sir. Okay, there are several applications with the same concepts are available, but in our research work, what we are integrating is we are integrating the personal touch and the human touch into the application. So we are not yet in that to that particular point. Probably, I don't know, it might take another one and a half year for me to do that. But the main difference between the existing application is it is computer based. So and textual based, there is no voice based interaction is carried out. But our research work is to make this particular concept to interact with the students in a voice based, that is also the voice of some loved ones from their family. So we are trying to integrate some personal touch to this application, sir.
It's good. Presently, the psychology counselors, they have different trend in understanding the mental health issues of the students or the youngsters. How far your system is better than the presently available one? So whether this hybrid machine learning and deep learning based technique which would be useful for the present scenario?
I'm extremely sorry to interrupt you, sir. I could not able to hear you. I don't know if that's the mic issue. I'm extremely sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Okay. Shall I repeat it again?
Yeah, can you please mute Abhirami, sir? I think I get some echo as well.
Yeah, Abhirami.
Miss Abhirami K, can you please mute your mic, ma'am? Sorry for that.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, yeah, now it's clear, sir.
Yeah. So presently the psychological counselors, they use different techniques in understanding the mental health issues of the youngsters. And how far your new proposal that is based on hybrid machine and deep learning technique, how far it is useful for the present generation?
Okay, sir, currently based on my understanding, there are various concepts like logical regression and forest method and support vector method decision tree. Like we would love to use conventional neural network method. I just wanted to explore more about it. I don't have much idea at this point of time, but in my next paperwork I will focus more on specifically what methodology that I'm going to use.
Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, like, can I leave the meeting?
Yeah, I can leave now. It is because morning
sir.
2 o'clock we can leave.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Fine.
Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah.
All the best.
Yeah. Next presentation. Miss Jayasudha, are you available? Miss Jayasudha, are you available?
Yes.
Yeah, are you available?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. You can keep it in video mode. Jayasudha, isn't it? Jayasudha, please keep it in video mode. Yeah, thank you. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Jayasudha, you can give a presentation. First you introduce yourself, after that you can start your presentation.
Okay, sir. First of all, I like to thank you, sir, for taking time for me, sir.
What's your paper ID?
Savitkar.
Yeah. 79. Jayasudha, madam.
79, sir.
Your name is Jayasudha, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But Jayasudha is my guide, sir. Guide name is Jayasudha.
Oh, okay. You are Jayasudha. Your guide name is Jayasudha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Okay.
me and Jayasudha are going to present this paper, sir.
Okay, where are you from actually?
I am from Salur, sir.
Okay, what's the name of the institution?
IFET. IFET College.
Okay. Oh, IFET College of Engineering, isn't it? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your paper ID is for 79, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can start your presentation now.
The project title is Design of Microstrip Rectangular Dual Band Antenna.
Jayasudha,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can able to hear you, but your slide is not actually, it is not available for viewing. Will you present it again? Just you can share your presentation.
I present in another system, sir.
Okay. Because we have, yeah, you can present in another system. Jayasudha,
Yes, sir.
your presentation is not available for viewing. Will you join with our system? What's the problem?
I already joined in another system, sir.
Okay, at least you can, okay, Jayasudha. Okay, you can share your presentation, no problem. You can mute this one and you can join other system and you can share your presentation.
Okay, sir.
Please. Please do it fast. Jai Sugan? Jai Sugan? Jai Sugan, are you joining? Couldn't join Monday.
Sir.
Jai Sugan.
I'm finding issue there.
Okay.
Sir, I am sir.
You do one thing, you present, no problem. You present, no problem. You can present, but I will not able to view your presentation. You can present, no problem. You can present. Start your presentation.
Sir, 1 minute speech, sir, I can present it.
Jai Sudan, you please listen. Need not show it again. You can just present it, no problem.
Okay, sir, okay, sir. Sir, can you hear me, sir?
You can mute your another system so that your voice will be clear. Your voice is not clear.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, now, sir?
Yeah, it's okay now. Please present. What is the title of your presentation? Design of microstrip rectangular dual band antenna for MIMO 5G application. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can present it now. You can start your presentation, Jay Sudha. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Abstract. In today's wireless communication network, microwave antennas plays a pivotal role in ensuring efficiency and reliable connectivity. In this work, a compact and cost efficiency microstrip rectangular dual band antenna was designed for 5G MIMO application. Operating frequency is 3.5 GHz and 6 GHz. The antenna exhibits excellent impedance matching and high radiation efficiency. Utilizing a U-shaped defined ground structure with impressive bandwidth and a simulated frequency dependent ground structure. Introduction. In today's wireless communication era, the search in multimedia application has surpassed to capabilities of 3G systems, necessitating the evolution of 4G of high-speed, high-bandwidth transmission with the proliferation of smartphone. In India, there are growing demand for high-speed internet and multimedia service. Achieving higher data rate involved advanced technique like beamforming and MIMO transmission. The critical role of well-designed antenna illuminator. Objective: to propose a compact, low-cost and suitable antenna for 5G MIMO application. The rectangular patch antenna, which is
Network is get team present. Join again, ma'am.
I don't know, sir.
Okay. Hello, madam. Kelly pizza. ICMC போட்டுங்களா
சார் மீட்டிங் ஐடி வாங்க. இல்லை சார் இது ஜூம் உங்களோட ஐடி தானே?
மெயில் ஓப்பன்.
சரி மெயில் ஓப்பனில் தான் இருக்குது. எங்கே சார் போகணும்?
இதான் மேம்.
எது?
வினோத் மேக்ஸ்.
இதுவா சார்?
இருப்பாங்களா அவங்கள?
இருப்பாங்க சார், அவங்க வெயிட் பண்ணுவாங்க சார். கரெக்டாக தான் சொல்கிறீங்களா?
வேறு எங்கே போகுது?
உங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஜூம் லிங்க் இருக்குங்களா?
வீடியோ வேண்டியதில்லை நினைக்கிறேன். வீடியோ போயிட்டுருக்கோம் மேடம்.
என்ன சார்?
அந்த வீடியோ வேண்டியதில்லை. வீடியோ வேண்டியதில்லை.
வீடியோ போய்கிட்டு இருக்கு சார்.
இதானா?
இது அவரோட தெரியல.
என்னோட போதா? ஆ சவுண்ட் இல்லையே. சவுண்ட் இல்லாமல் ஜெயசுதன் வீடியோ. அவனும் ஜாயின் ஆகலாம். ஜெயசுதன் அடுத்தது யார் இருக்காங்க? போயிடலாமா?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jason, please continue your presentation because there was a network issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Please go ahead. Jason,
Sir.
please present.
Sir.
Please present.
Sir, I am not Jason. I am Yuvraj, sir. Her partner.
Yeah, okay.
Jason,
You can, no problem. Present. No problem.
Okay, sir. Shall I?
You can start continuing the way.
So it's a PPT. I am presenting my PPT, sir.
You are a partner of Jayasudan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You start quickly. Please show your PPT. Just you can share your screen.
Wait, sir. I am. Sir, can you see the slide, sir?
No, it is not shown. It's not shown actually.
Sir?
Your presentation is not shown.
Sir, I am sharing, sir, but you can't.
Okay, no problem. You can present. No problem. Yuvraj, you can start.
Sir, my screen is visible, sir.
Yeah.
Visible or not, sir?
Yeah, you can present. No problem. Yeah, it's visible.
Oh, okay, sir. There is a slide for the slide. Existing. So these are my literature survey. Next session. Sir, in my existing, they used square wave and square patch antennas, but they are not sufficient for application, sir, because the size of this antenna is macro, so that mobility of the metal is less. To overcome this problem, we next slide, Jason. We propose a rectangular shaped patch antenna, sir. In this antenna,
we used substrate, that is zirconium. We used zirconium substrate for the dielectric substrate, and we have used patch as a metal or copper for the patch. In the patch, there are 4 diode, pin diode. Pin diode is used for when we are on and offing the 4 pin diode, the antenna can be worked at 3.5 GHz and 6 GHz. The dual band is of our antenna is 3.5 and 6 GHz. This is our antenna. In this batch there are 4 pin diodes you can see in the antenna.
Okay, you can go ahead, no problem.
This is our antenna design, sir. This antenna is designed with the help of HFSS software tool, sir. It is used to design antenna efficiently. And these are the advantages. The side lobes are reduced. Fantastic rectangular polarization can be achieved with the relevant feedback technique. This antenna appears to very compacting an antenna to typically high gain antenna, for example horn, reflector and lens, while the thickness is smaller. Sir,
Yuvraj, your slide is not moving. You are an advantages slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you please move to the next slide.
Jason.
Yeah, please move to the next slide.
Yes, sir. Yes, next slide.
Okay.
Sir, application. We are introducing a DRA in the ground of the dielectric, sir. In our antenna, the ground is made up of DRA. DRA means dielectric resonator antenna. We use these two can used for ultra fast medical and sensor application. A sharp DNA has designed for breast cancer detection. Dielectric resonator have become major factor in the integrated microwave filters and oscillators. As a result, high temperature stability and lossless. These are the result parameters, sir. Next slide, Jason. The return loss comparing to the existing is less than the existing, sir. And the next, Jason. The VSWR is accurately 1.9 at 5.8 GHz, sir. Then the gain is increased to 9.38 dB at the operating frequency of 5.8 GHz. Next is conclusion. Sir, this way the MIM, multiple input and multiple output patch antenna will satellite at a high performance antenna that find application in 5G mobile communication, vehicular communication and wireless communication. Additionally, ADOA develops into impact of substrate and super substrate electronic parameters, 3 layers and 2 layers stacked patch configuration. Provide variable insight for antenna design, sir. That's all, sir.
Okay, Yuvraj, thank you for your presentation. And
sir, any questions?
yeah. So you have done work on design of microchip rectangular dual band antenna.
Yes, sir.
And what is the advantage? What is the
wave, sir?
Yeah, what is the advantage of our antenna, rectangular dual band antenna? What is the advantage? What is the advantage of a design?
Sir, this antenna is used in the mobile antenna, sir.
Okay.
It is compact. It consumes less energy and sufficient to radiate signals, sir.
Okay. So, what are the advantages of your new design when compared with the presently available system for 5G applications?
Sir, the existing has some disadvantages like drawbacks like that is in nano size, sir. To overcome, we have designed micro.
Okay.
It's
Okay. You are a student of ECE or are you studying now?
yes, sir.
You are studying in which branch?
ECE, sir.
ECE. Which year you are studying?
Final year.
Very good. Jay Sudan, about Jay Sudan, he is also student?
Yes, sir. He's my friend, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Jay Sudan.
Sir, and we are using the nanoscale structure, sir.
Okay.
In the existing square antenna, the size of the antenna is nano.
Okay.
So the electron mobility in the metal is very less, sir.
Okay. Good. Okay, thank you, Yuvraj and Jay Sudan. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we can leave the meeting, sir.
Yeah, I can leave the meeting. Thank you. You can unshare and you can leave the meeting.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Next one.
Jitesh Pradhan, sir. ரெண்டு டைப்ல எது அவங்களுக்கு தெரியல. அவங்கள செக் பண்ணுங்க.
Are you Jitesh Pradhan? Next presenter, Jitesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jitesh. Okay. You can share your presentation. What's the title?
Just a second, sir. I'm sharing my presentation.
Yeah, title of your presentation?
Sir, it's colonoscopy, polyp detection and segmentation using modified TerraSnet 101V2 architecture.
Just a minute.
Yes.
I'll let you. You are Dr. Jitesh Pradhan, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Is my presentation visible, sir?
Yeah, it's visible. Just a minute. I'll write the title. What's your ID actually? 121, isn't it?
121, sir.
Okay. So sorry for the delayed response because we have some issue here.
No issue, sir. It happens in the conferences.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Jitesh Pradhan, you can start the presentation. You have NIT Jamshedpur, isn't it? Dr. Jitesh, are you available? Dr. Jitesh? He's coming. எல்லாம் கனெக்ட் பண்ணுங்க. கனெக்ட் பண்ணி மறுபடியும் போடுங்க. போயிருக்கு.
Sorry, sir.
No problem. connect ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್.
ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಬಂದಾಯ್ತು ಸರ್.
Charge max. Click. Connect ಆಗಲ್ಲ. बैक लगा मत
not connected कटा सर.
नेटवर्क से
कनेक्ट பண்ணிரோன்னு பார்த்தாலும் கனெக்ட் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது சார். participant facing local disconnecting card.
Dr. Jidesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, again